owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, there is a lot going on in the world of Magic the Gathering right now. We've got a Pioneer Challenger deck leak. We've got the impending PR disaster for Wizards of the Coast. We're going to talk about AI designing official Magic cards. And there's even a little bit of fun tacked on to the end as well. But let's dive in first and foremost with the Challenger deck leak, because this is the most interesting to me. Up on the screen, you are going to see an image of 4 different Pioneer Challenger decks, all right? So we have, first of all, the white-black Orzhov human deck. After that, we've got the red-blue Is It Phoenix deck. After that, we've got the red-green Gruul Stompy deck. And then finishing it up, we've got the black-blue Dimir Control deck. So this is a pretty standard offering as far as Challenger decks go. Wizards of the Coast comes out and makes these decks that are really supposed to be competitive in the format they're created for, but ultimately will fall at least a little short of the goal, so that you will be forced into chasing some of the cards down. But at the same time, these are a lot better than the Planeswalker decks that they used to make and say, hey, grab these and play an event and get trounced. So they are somewhat of a Challenger level deck. Now, when you look at this image, there is speculation that this may actually be a false leak, okay? And one of the things that people are leaning into for that is the naming convention used on the decks. If you take a look at the first 2 decks, the Orzhov Humans and Is It Phoenix, that's the name in its entirety. But when you turn to both the Gruul Stompy and the Dimir Control decks, you'll notice that it actually has Pioneer in the name of the deck as well. So that could be evidence that this is a fake image, but it could also just mean that Wizards of the Coast is taking Gruul Stompy and Dimir Control that already exist as decks in other formats and trimming it down specifically for Pioneer, and they want the decks labeled like that so you don't think you are buying a deck for a different format. On top of the naming convention issue, one of the other things that people are pointing to say this may be fake is the fact that it is listed on the Amazon Polish marketplace. So ultimately the jury is out on that one, but for me, I'm leaning towards this one looking real. When I look at the choices that they've made here, it definitely feels like this could be the deck options they would go with. There's nothing from this overall that screams to me this is fake, but there's also nothing to say conclusively that it is absolutely a full-on leak. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say it's 95% real, 5% not. So the next thing I want to talk about is Wizards of the Coast's impending PR nightmare. And by impending, I mean it's going to happen today. Depending on when you see this video, it might have already occurred. The good news is it will still be available for you to view afterwards. If you're not aware of what Wizards of the Coast does, once a month, they do a special Twitch stream. Take a look at the schedule, okay? You'll notice that there is one scheduled specifically for today, June 30th, right? Now, here's the problem. What are they actually going to do in this stream, right? Every stream they have had like this up until now is new product hype. What are we doing? Here's the new stuff we have. But in this situation, you're looking at it going, wait a minute. They literally just took the Warhammer Commander decks and threw them all the way down to October. That's what they were going to be hyping up right now because it comes out in July. So you've got a situation where the stream is supposed to be, let's hype up these Commander decks, and at the same time, we're going to lean into Double Masters, right? But now the Commander decks are gone. So the one big thing that everybody comes to these streams for is to get the spoilers, right? One of the other things people come for is the Q&A. Now the Q&A is usually pretty vicious overall. You have to understand that the streams that Wizards put on are very, very stilted and corporate, right? Like every single moment is orchestrated, and you very rarely get anything that feels like genuine and not pre-planned. So it kind of is interesting that they choose to go the live route where anything can happen and people are there for the more dynamic setup, but they try to rigidly control it. We saw a big divergence from that when you had the Beatles and Grimm secret layer reveal. That was great. That was so off the rails and fun. on, right? But that's not the normal situation. Normally what will happen is Blake, the PR guy for Wizards of the Coast, will come out, he'll look through this big sea of comments, and they'll hand select the ones that properly fall into what they want to answer, and they'll kind of ignore everything else. And usually what happens is there's enough people who are there who are hyped about all of the newness and what's going on that you can find enough good questions to go with, right? But in this case, you're looking at a situation where not only have the commander decks been removed, the brand newness is tossed. We're not talking about that. But the Magic community is in an uproar right now because of Baldur's Gate, right? And they're going to be raging about it in the comments. You can be guaranteed there will be a lot of smack talking going on. So this is the first time that I've genuinely full on felt bad for the PR guy from Wizards of the Coast, because he's got to go in there this afternoon. It happens at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. He's got to walk in with nothing new to show unless he's like, please give me a secret layer, give me something, anything. So we might see a bonus secret layer reveal that we weren't going to get just so they have something new to show us. But what I really feel like this stream is going to be is sort of a tap dance where they're like, oh man, okay, hey, yeah, something's going on, it's all good, don't even worry. As they just crack double Masters packs. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Please just stick around. Why did we even do this stream? That is what I ultimately feel like is going to happen, because Wizards of the Coast PR team is having a rough time. Look, actually, a perfect example of that is the Post Malone situation, right? Post Malone is hardcore into Magic. He spent 800 grand on like a Black Lotus artist proof. He is full on into the game, right? And Wizards of the Coast announced like 6 months ago that they were partnering up with Post Malone and they were going to have Friday Night Magic Post Malone events. And we haven't heard anything about it. It's more like postponed Malone at this point, right? Like, what is going on there? The Mr. Beast thing that they hyped up, did they even announce a winner for that? So the PR situation with the company is pretty absurd right now. And now, after that, I want to talk about another absurd situation where I'm genuinely starting to wonder if they're using actual AI, at least in part, to design new Magic cards. Now, to understand what I'm talking about, we're actually going to have to turn to Arena. Now, I don't normally talk about that, right? I haven't played Arena in well over a month and a half. And so to make sure you understand where I'm coming from, I'm going to put up a card from the new Baldur's Gate Alchemy stuff. This is Wilson. I love the concept of this refined grizzly bear. Look at him just chilling with his drink. This is good times. Now, you're going to notice that he has an ability called Specialize, right? Now, Specialize is an arena-only ability, which is a funky concept that allows you to pitch a card from your hand to alter the creature, to give them a specialization. So, a fun idea, but the execution of it led to this. This is another version of Wilson. Now, both of these versions share the same base abilities. So you end up with the trample from the original Wilson, but the additional ability, one of them, that's added by turning it into a blue card, makes him unblockable, which actively works against the trample ability, right? It feels like it's nonsensical. If somebody actively designed this card, how would their brain not go, trample and can't be blocked are pretty much on the opposite end of the scale. You can't trample over creatures if you can't be blocked. So you basically turn your trample into an absolutely useless ability. This isn't an upgrade, it's just a straight out overwriting of the ability. And honestly, when I looked at it, my brain went, is a human designer capable of making this? Are they starting to create specialization arena cards using actual AI for at least part of the process, where the artificial intelligence slaps these cards together, and as long as there are no alarm bells, they go boom, put it out? Like, as far as I'm concerned, cards like this version of Wilson can only be created by AI, either artificial intelligence or absent intelligence, but definitely AI is involved somehow, and it does really lead to interesting thoughts about the future of Magic the Gathering. And I started to wonder, will we reach a point where most of the game design is actually replaced by artificial intelligence, both designing the cards and play testing the cards? And the applications for AI in Magic the Gathering don't just extend to the card design themselves. It could also be used for the artwork. There's no reason that at a certain point, all Magic artwork couldn't be done by an AI painter bot. So we could have all flavor text, all of the actual card mechanics and the artwork essentially done by one gigantic AI. And the question is, does that removal of humanity from the game make it a better game overall? Does it remove the soul from the game? Does it cause the game to flow more properly? Does it allow Wizards of the Coast to accurately predict even further how people will react to all kinds of different cards and create even more intense monetization schemes? There are a lot of questions that this opens up for me. It's genuinely fascinating to think about, right? Magic in the AI era. It does make me feel like a dinosaur as well. Big thanks to my patrons. See you next time.